I guess this might get lost, but I like watching The Walking Dead.
Like, I would be watching it even if we didn't cover it.
If we stopped covering Walking Dead, we would not. And it's not our highest rated show. It's like a close third. You've got Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones biggest, baddest fucker on the block. We would have.
Yeah. Oh Jesus. Yeah.
We would have like if the people if there's as many people listening to podcasts as Game of Thrones fans as there were Walking Dead fans, holy shit, it would be some juggernaut.
Second biggest is Breaking Bad.
Second biggest is Breaking Bad. It still has not been eclipsed, and Walking Dead is. It would be a distant third, but this season it's really gained ground. You know, you go to 17 million people.
And I think, so here's why I don't want to stop covering it. There's no other voice like ours out there. Like, if you go and you listen to a lot of these other podcasts, so many of them, and I think so many of them are so positive on this show. And they're not approaching it from the same perspective that we are. And I think
they're
multiple
fan first casts, you'd say.
Definitely. And that's fine. Like, I'm not saying every cast needs to be like ours and needs to pull apart these things and analyze them on a deeper level. I'm just saying that perspective is also valuable. And so if we were to stop doing that, you wouldn't get that perspective. And we have a lot of people who write in and say, thank you for doing this podcast because you're the only guys who are talking about the things that are bad on this show. You're the only people who I feel are telling us the truth when they're talking about this show.
Oh, Walking Dead truthers, watch out. Watch out.
You know what I mean? So I don't want to stop doing it for that reason alone. Even if it wasn't A, fun to do, B, big ratings, I would still be covering this thing.
Yeah, and I mean, like, that's
just because I want to maintain that perspective.
Like, we've done, you know, like Boardwalk Empire is a great example of a show that we both loved and took ultra serious and did a very good podcast on that no one listened to.
Sure, and I never regretted doing that.
And 24 is an example of a show that we just engaged at a very silly, crazy level on, and also got no one to listen to. And we did it just because it was a lot of fun to do. I mean, we just, like, we run the gamut. I don't even know how many shows we got now, 20? And they're, like, all over the map as far as terms of popularity and quality. But the one common thing is we enjoy it, and we're honest about the way we enjoy it. Like, you know, me and Cecily on True Blood is way different than you and me on The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's, like, I don't watch anything just a podcast on it.
No,
I couldn't do it. I mean, you think I'm ripping on The Walking Dead? Like, if I was watching something that I truly hated,
if we had done a season 2 newsroom podcast,
or season 1. Season 1, I think, is the worst.
Oh, season 1 you liked less? Wow.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. But I mean, and that's the thing. Like, I feel like as long as I can cover The Walking Dead from a place of love and affection, it's not going to get so negative that people are just like, oh, it's a bitch fest. I mean,
we don't cover things we hate.
Sure.
Right.
I mean, we get plenty of people saying that, like, oh, you guys are just haters, blah, blah, blah. But then you also go on the Reddit, Walking Dead subreddit, and there's people openly wondering why Andrew Lincoln doesn't get nominated for an Emmy. And I'm like...
Because there's television out there and actors out there who are way, way better.
But I'm saying, though, 17 million, it's a point of mathematical fact that the majority of this audience is not watching True Detective and not watching Mad Men, not watching Breaking Bad, and they're not seeing... like where the state of the art is.
Oh, I see what you're saying. And so they assume this is the height of
exactly.
television.
It's like, you know, when you're really good at a video game in your friend circle, and then you I'm going to go to a tournament and
the
just
GoldenEye effect,
and you get your ass stomped. You realize, like, oh wow, if I expand, then the internet's kind of like flattened all that out. But you can realize, like, oh, I thought I was good and I was the best in this thing. And I'm not saying Andrew Lincoln's bad. Andrew Lincoln's really good. And Andrew Lincoln, like. You know, if Andrew Lincoln and Melissa McBride and Norman Reedus were any less of an actor, Beth's death would just fall flat. Like, their performances single-handedly gave it that emotional punch that you needed. They're awesome, but they're not on the same level as the other people. So it's like, it doesn't hurt my feelings when people are like, oh, you guys are haters or you're just unnecessary, because a lot of people aren't watching the other shit, so how would they know?
Well, I'm not even concerned on that level. What I'm concerned about is... we enjoy what we're doing. That's always number one. If we aren't having at least a little bit of fun with the shows we're covering, we're going to stop covering them. And second, and just right behind that is maintaining this perspective that I don't see in so many other podcasts. Like I don't want the message that goes out to be universally positive if the show is not universally good.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to set out and take down a show that I absolutely hate because I wouldn't have fun doing that. But Walking Dead is good enough. It's certainly not bad, but it is good enough to where I feel like I have a lot of fun watching it, a lot of fun talking about it, and it's a perspective that most people don't give you.
And occasionally the show just knocks it out of the park.
Oh yeah.
Like and like that's the thing. Like we genuinely love the season premiere.
Yes.
We were over the moon
Amazing.
about it. It was great. And I'll remind people, there's no reason why they can't all be roughly that good. No reason. The only reason there's not a budget problem, there's not an acting talent problem. It's just the will and skill of the writers, directors, and producers. That's the barrier. Yeah. So I personally would like to see The Walking Dead be consistently awesome.
That'd be nice.
Let's move on. Rachel B said, I thought you missed a couple things this season. This is like Smoke Theory Alpha, she says. Number one, Carol as Moses in Consumed.
Yeah, this is a super awesome theory, by the way.
Oh, so you saw this
Yes, I
one.
read this email. This is fantastic.
He was banished for murder, then he was guided by a pillar of smoke through the wilderness. So was Carol then. Whenever smoke appeared, she followed it. I think Daryl's cigarette smoke is what made her help Noah. Didn't get that. That was good.
Yeah.
I hope this means someone in the group is going to write a set of laws to keep these idiots safe. Carol's going to come down from the mountains with the stone tablets of the 10 zombie commandments. Number one, of course, cardio.
Yeah.
That's great. She's not done. Number two, the hospital group is Rick's group, as if Shane would have killed Rick. Imagine a leadership group of Shane, Daryl, and Michonne that sees everyone as civilians and second-class citizens. Herschel, as Strawberry Man, doesn't give guidance or farmer lessons. Michonne never learns to smile. Tyrese spends all his time ironing. Beth never tastes moonshine, and Daryl never gets a hug. Maybe Beth saw all this, and that's why she deployed her scissors. I love that take. And also, like, I can totally see that everyone in an almost like purely Darwin way is using each other and lying and scheming. I mean, that's Shane to a T.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know how we get from there. So
that's an interesting what if.
The hospital. Yeah.
I almost want to write a fanfic.
Oh my God. 50 Shades of Shane.
You know, here's like, let's talk about the reboot for a bit. I don't really want to talk about a reboot. Who gives a shit? We'll see. I want to see a trailer come out of that.
Let's talk about this. I don't want to talk about it.
What if they did a reboot where they just went back to that moment and Shane kills Rick? They could Lori's available. Sarah Wayne Callies.
So you want an alternate universe spinoff?
Barenthal's available. Andrea's available. Dale's available. Like, have one of the immediate ripple effects is Rick's dead, Carl's dead, Glenn and Maggie are dead. And Maggie are dead. You've got everybody else. Beth, why wouldn't that be an awesome series? You could call it like The Walking Dead Dark Side. I'm getting a boner thinking about it.
That would be pretty cool, yeah.
And you've got the actors are there, man.
Yeah, I'm sure they'd love to come back.
That would be fucking rad. So wow. Someone needs to do that. We need to get this. We need to get Lobes.
Ebook time.
Yeah, we'll see how season 2 of the Survival Guide goes. But thank you. I really appreciate that, Rachel. That was awesome. Olivia D said, I went back to the tape and watched The Fall. Oh my God. A definitive defense of Maggie.
Oh boy.
I went back to the tape and watched The Fall of Prison in episode 408 when Herschel was beheaded. Both sisters are shown to be devastated, but continue trucking on since we quote unquote all have jobs to do. Maggie yells, Beth! And where's Beth? When returning to the bus with Glenn. She leaves Glenn and goes looking for Beth. She meets up with Bob and Sasha, and the first thing she asks is, have you seen Beth? While the bus leaves, supposedly with Glenn. Then 2 different scenes in which she asks about her sister. Meanwhile, Beth is running around the prison looking for the kids. She has to save the kids. She has to save the kids! Requested to read in my Arlene voice. Beth does not mention Mags and returns with Daryl. I'm scoring this 2-0, Mags in the lead. We see the same Mags in episode 4.
We're now a full minute after the disappearance of Beth. The timeline is we are 1 minute out from the moment Beth has disappeared. Now
Yeah.
show me the concern on her face.
All right, we're keeping score now.
Subsequently.
We see Mags in 410 where she states, I couldn't find Beth, but I know Glenn got out. In the same episode, Doodlebug has one line mentioning her family. Maggie and Glenn could have made it out of A block. The score is now 3-1. And 412, Doodlebug has a few lines.
That was a field goal at best. At best.
In 412, Doodlebug has a few lines about Mags, but some aren't showing concern towards her. I'm not Michonne, Carol, Maggie when she was talking about her being tough. When referring to how she thought their lives would play out at prison, she said, I thought Maggie and Glenn would have a baby, and Herschel would grow old and die peacefully. The final mention of Maggie is, I miss Maggie bossing me around. It'll be nice. I'll be nice and give Doodlebug 3 points for the mention, so her score is 3-4 advantage Doodlebug. Daryl accurately states, you ain't never going to see Maggie again. She is Beth napped in 413 and makes no mentions of her sister. At this point, Mags has been reunited with Glenn, and she starts to show hope, especially with the Mullet Man's claim to know the cure. We never see her mourn her father and her dead sister, so she just bottles it up inside. I think it's safe to say that Mags thought she was dead.
I thought this was a defense of Maggie.
It's kind of losing the thread here.
What about Daryl telling her she's alive? I've seen her. I was with her drinking moonshine.
Right.
Where does that come in? Has that happened yet in her timeline?
In 5-1, Daryl states he was with Beth before she was Beth napped.
Yep.
Mags asked Daryl. One side effect of us doing this a full time is we just don't give a shit on runtime anymore. Like, we'll take 3 hours to talk about the walk. I just realized I thought that we'd be in and out in like an hour.
Oh,
this is going to be another goddamn 2-hour podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you people are happy. Daryl states she was with Beth before she was Beth napped. Mags asked Daryl, she's alive. He tells her that she was taken in a cross car and he lost track of it given their circumstances and the fact the car could have gone anywhere. How in the hell is Maggie supposed to look for her sister? Daryl hasn't even seen Doodlebug in the last 3 days. And cars can travel quite a distance. Score is now tied 4-4.
Nope. Go back to the site where you lost track of Beth. Look for clues at least.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this is a spirited defense of Maggie, but still.
But she doesn't try. Like, she does not try.
Right. Like
she says, "Oh, yep, I guess Beth is gone. Let's move on."
Right.
Like, if my brother disappeared and I knew the location from which he was taken, I would go to that location. I would probably camp out there and wait for potentially anybody to come back. Like, that is your point of reference. Go there.
Yeah, so, like, let's just go ahead and talk about this. Because Maggie found the school bus flipped over full of zombies.
Yeah.
And she hung her hat, the fact that she kept maniacally searching for Glenn on the fact that Glenn wasn't on the bus.
Uh-huh. He could have gone any direction.
Neither was Beth.
Uh-huh.
And she found Glenn. Once you found Glenn, you'd think that would almost be like, oh my God, now I gotta. That vindicated her faith. Yes, like irrationally, she would be even more stronger about finding her sister.
You would think so.
But anyway, I don't know. Again, I might grant that the facts are on the Maggie Defender's side, especially if you look at this as happening over the course of 2 weeks. However, I didn't go back and watch season 4 before I watched this, and it's on the showrunners to make me believe that Maggie actually gives a shit about her sister. And since it was a running joke for this whole fucking season, I feel like that they failed that test. What about you?
No, I definitely feel like they failed the test. Maggie doesn't do anything proactive to find her sister. That's the problem that I have. It's not that I don't think Maggie has this bottled up and she's concerned inside and she's just not saying anything. She should have done something to try to find her sister, and she didn't.
And it doesn't have to be as showy as
never
Glenn,
did.
because I buy that she, you feel more strongly about your husband than you do your annoying kid sister.
Sure.
Maybe. But you should feel something.
You should feel something, yeah.
And it should factor into things like which leader you're going to follow and where you're going to go and which damn fool idealistic crusade you're going to go on.
Yeah.
Let's get to Andrew E. Worst moment of the season, Officers Bob saved the cat moment. Slaptown established Grady Memorial Hospital as a haven for sexual violence and general cruelty. But when Officer Bob takes Noah into handcuffs, he's all, tell me if it's too tight. I let out a giant fuck you show. It was the moment I knew the whole hospital plot was going to collapse under its weight of its own inconsistencies. And more than anything, it was just annoying. There's literally no reason for that line other than to establish Officer Bob as one of the quote-unquote good ones. We've left the hospital without really knowing what that was all about. The Walking Dead tried its hand at world building with Grady, and in the end, it was half-baked, not good enough. I broadly concur.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would defend the hospital as being perfectly executed.
Okay.
I think it was a good idea that was not executed as well as it could have been, and so I didn't care as much as I could have.
Best moment of the season, the Terminus slaughter, before you realize that the whole scene is set up to keep our group alive, which does take a bit of tension out of the proceedings. The throat-cutting scene in Terminus was possibly the best this show has ever been. It's the ultimate in surreal, brutal hopelessness. It should go down as one of the TV show's indelible images and perhaps its greatest episode. Spectacular. I have a hard time disagreeing with that. The season,
you know what?
Episode 5-1 was good.
I mean, screw you. It really chaps my ass that they can show that scene, but they can't say fuck.
Yeah.
Like I want to go on a crusade here and try to get this changed in this country, because what is it about language versus slitting someone's throat open and bleeding them dry in a trough that is so offensive?
Here's the deal, man. Like 300 years ago, all of the most pious, boring Christian types left Europe and founded a new country with that.
I've heard of this.
If not in government and form, and definitely ethics and ethos.
Cuba, right?
This is the story of Cuba. We are that country. We are this puritanical thing, and it's God deals in violence. Like, God comes down and he will stone you. He will send down fire and brimstone. He will put you to the sword. God does not rape you to death. God does not promote titties and nakedness and lewd behavior. Violence, A-okay.
Yeah.
Healthy sexuality.
Cursing. What's wrong with cursing?
And cursing, bad. Well, that's a good
point.
Why
is cursing a problem?
Roger Ebert wrote the definitive take on cursing.
Ooh, okay.
Where, because he was raised Catholic, and he said, most people don't, they put adult language all in the one category, whereas as Catholics, technically, you've got vulgarity, which is shit, piss, dick, pussy, that kind of stuff. It's just being vulgar, it's being crude. And you've
blasphemy.
You've got swearing, which is, I swear to God, if you talk about swearing one more time, I'm going to lose my goddamn mind.
No. See, you threw some blasphemy there, didn't you?
Then you got profanity, which is being profaning something sacred, which is like taking the Lord's name in vain. So he's like, really, and vulgar language is...
So fuck shouldn't really be a problem.
No, it's just being vulgar.
Yeah, that's just vulgarity. That's not blasphemy. That's not...
Yeah. It's a venial sin at best. It's not mortal. It's not going to endanger your soul. I mean, shit. Was it Elisha or Ezekiel that engaged in vulgarity when he was mocking another god? Like he had this big, test for the Philistines' gods or whatever, and he's like, what's the matter? Is your god on the shitter? Is he full of shit that he can't come down here and set this idol on fire or whatever the joke was? So yeah, I mean,
I just wish a movement would spring up that was like, we don't care about cursing on television. Curse on television. It's fine. If it's after 9 o'clock, curse your heart out.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I've tried to do my part. Like I preach my son, it's not bad language, it's adult language.
Yes. I like that.
So I'm trying to do my part.
Okay.
We're all adults. We're rocking the red explicit tag.
We certainly do our part on this podcast.
But anyway, it has nothing to say to Andrew E's best moment.
I'm sorry, I just got on a rant.
It was awesome. It was spectacular. Character of the season, Beth. I had serious doubts as whether Emily Kinney could carry a post-apocalyptic hospital subplot, and I still have doubts. But the way this half season built up Beth's eventual suicide was clever, and if it didn't salvage the plot, it at least gave us unexpectedly fitting character death. Works for me.
It was okay.
Wild praise by Jim Jones.
Yeah.
Worst character this season, Dawn. I'm going to be harsh here. I don't think Dawn, the character, is that bad, and there are some interesting facets to her. I just thought Christine Woods, who I thought was also pretty bad in the appalling flash forward, couldn't carry the material and couldn't make her face do what she needed it to do.
Doesn't have the musculature to pull off that role. I'm sorry.
She played this role like a wax figurine. I agreed. I thought she was pretty bad. Dawn, the
Really?
character, and
I
Dawn,
thought
the
the
actress,
story
was
was-
pretty bad.
I thought the story was badly told and the actress was good. That's how I view it.
Well, I can't take my ivory tower. You've never seen a Breaking Bad or Mad Men, bullshit approach with you.
I mean, yeah, but you
You should know better.
You give
but
Bryan
apparently
Cranston
you don't.
a shitty story, and he's still it's gonna be fall flat.
That's true.
Like,
That's true.
what do you want him to do?
That's true. For every really awesome post Breaking Bad like parody thing I've seen him do, I've seen some cringeworthy ones.
What if he didn't have lines like "I'm the one who knocks"?
Aaron Paul, Need for Speed.
There you go.
Do we need to say anything more?
Perfect.
Aaron Paul can act his fucking pants off.
Yep.
He is.
So can Bryan Cranston.
Arguably, he does his best work. Sans pants. Predictions for next season: a flashback for Maggie asking about her sister. Boom. That's what.
You can't do that.
Watch him. Watch Kirkman do it.
That's the most cynical
Watch him.
bullshit thing I've ever
There's
heard.
the season episode 509. The pre-credit sequence is just going to be rapid 5-second cuts of Maggie agonizing over Beth
And Lori.
And then
we're going to
it's
go
gonna
back and
be-
we're going to see Lori actually watching Carl out the door and telling everyone and no one caring.
and then there'll be a 30-second scene, a shot of Robert Kirkman with his arms crossed,
Just
staring at the
staring at the
screen,
camera.
and it's just going to zoom in onto his eyes.
Yep.
And he's going to be like, "Game over, internet."
How awesome would it be to go fourth wall near the end of this series? Just be like, I'm Robert Kirkman. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. I'm rich. I'm
Yeah.
like fuck you.
And you know
money
what?
Rich.
I'm gonna keep this spinoff going way longer than you wanted to. Way longer.
Final non-spoiler. We have a whole spoiler extravaganza.
All right.
I don't know what we're going to do here. Final email in the regular cast. Jim F. said, I want to know what type of weapon each of you would find to be ideal in the zombie apocalypse. I would suggest a large hatchet or trident or even a rifle with a bayonet. What would each of you pick?
Tactical nuke.
No.
A jet fighter.
Okay.
An F-14. How about
An
that?
Apache longbow attack helicopter.
An orbital missile station.
The International Space Station would be the ultimate zombie weapon. You get up
I think
there,
so.
you kill the skeleton crew of Americans and Russians and probably Chinese and Indian guys that are up there.
Probably. And you
then
eat
got
moss
the place
for the rest of your life.
You got the place to yourself.
Yep.
Boom.
No, seriously, though.
Tell me that wouldn't be compelling as hell. A zombie tale set on the International Space Station.
Zombies in the space station?
I want to know
or-
what's going on because the space station, we're 15 months in. I bet they could survive that long.
They're probably freaking the fuck out.
I want to check in on the space station. It's all fun and games till Gregory
How
gets
awesome
a
would it
appendix
be?
rupture.
Right?
Yeah.
How awesome would it be if they came back in season 5B and that's just how a cold open?
And here's the thing:
A
they
cold
got no
open on the ISS.
guns. They got no bladed weapons. How are you going to bludgeon a man to death in 0G? You go to swing the hammer and you go back as far as the hammer trap. Like how are you going to beat someone's brains in 0G?
They can get G on the station, right? They can spin that thing?
No, they cannot
They can't?
spin the International Space Station.
You can't?
No,
Oh my god.
no.
What would
This
they
is-
do?
I think
They'd have to have bladed weapons.
They blow him out the airlock. They have to trick the zombie.
airlock him,
and
yeah.
what's a zombie do in 0G? Like he tries to walk towards you, he's floating.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's fascinating.
They'd be too stupid to get you, I'm sure.
You want a bottle episode, Walking Dead?
No, I want a cold open on the ISS.
Just on the ISS.
Yeah.
It's the last day before it deorbits and burns, and the desperate struggle of the 5 crewmen that are living and the one zombie floating around like Pac-Man trying to chomp them.
Well, it would probably be the other way around, right?
Oh, you'd be 5 zombies to one
5
living
zombies and one
person?
guy, and he'd just be blocking them left and right.
Hmm.
He'd probably get in your spacesuit. What are they gonna do? Right? Zombie
True.
proof, completely.
True. Yeah. Or
Okay.
you get in your spacesuit and you go on an extra vehicular walk.
Take a walk.
Yeah, like I got my spacesuit. I don't know what you fuckers are thinking.
Yeah.
You're now zombie sickles. I'm getting back in.
Sure.
But then he'd run out. I mean, eventually you'd run out of food.
Yeah, you would.
Although if there's just
He'd
one
have to
guy, you
deorbit.
could live a nice long time.
Can you deorbit in the ISS? It would just burn up, right?
Oh yeah, no, you'd be.
Does it have any shuttles, any capacity to get back?
I
or is
feel
it
like I feel like that it keeps one of those crew modules enough that everyone could jump on and get out without anyone
And survive
dying.
through the atmosphere, through the fall?
Yeah, and it's just like one of those return capsules.
Okay.
It's like a Russian deal. The Soyuz
That would be
module,
smart.
right?
Yeah.
But yeah,
All right. We're making a long cast even longer.
even longer. By the way, Jim takes a shot at Jim. It's Jim on Jim violence.
Yeah.
How can you be a Kurt Vonnegut fan without having read Slaughterhouse-5? Penetrating
It's a good
question.
question. That's a good question.
I think he got you. You're trying to fit in and be a cool kid, and he caught you.
I'm a Kurt Vonnegut fan in theory. Like, I admire what the man does with the English language. Other than that, yeah, you're right.
His reputation. He's got a reputation. You admire the way he handles himself.
I admire the
his
respect
artistic
that he has.
life and his legitimacy.
Pretty much.
And
yeah.
if you read a book, you'd probably love it, but it's just it's in theory.
But it's a book. I'm not going to read that.
Sure. It's like, yeah, I'm sure I've got examples of that.
Like Stephen Hawking. Everybody loves Stephen Hawking in theory. I bet you 95% of the people who love Stephen Hawking haven't read any of his work.
Sure. Not read A Brief History of Time.
Yeah. So I'm the Kurt Vonnegut fan in that sense.
You're like in the PBS Nova. Like you've heard someone make a
I've
literary
heard a couple
reference.
Of,
and
I
you're
know
like,
that he's all about aliens, like being a threat, that sort of
the,
thing.
The Tralfamadorians or whatever the fuck.
The singularity, that sort of shit.
Oh wait, you're talking about Hawking,
Yeah,
Sagan.
yeah. No, not Sagan.
I know. I'm just really confusing things.
Okay.
That's it. You can send us feedback at watchingdead@baldmove.com, but the cold, harsh International Space Station outside truth of the matter is we're not going to be back on the air for Walking Dead until sometime in February. I think it's February 13th.
Which is coming up really fast.
And, yeah.
We've got other stuff going on. We got Breaking Good.
We've got so much stuff coming next season. We'll have full coverage of Justified. We'll have full coverage of The Americans. We'll have full coverage of Better Call Saul will probably be on the air by the next time you hear this, the spinoff of Breaking Bad. So much stuff. We might be, like, next spring might have True Detective 2.0 coming out.
Wow.
There will not be a shortage of Bald Move content once we get to January. So, and we're still got...
So you enjoy your Christmas without us.
If you're Breaking Bad neophyte, we got full coverage of season 1. Catch up on that. We're covering season 2 in a week-by-week rewatch podcast.
Yep.
It's going to take us on into the spring. We're not going anywhere. So if you want to hear really awesome television podcast, keep tuning in to baldmove.com.
For sure.
We still have a substantial, sizable spoiler section.
All right, well, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll see you next half season, unless you're going to the spoilers with us. So until then, I'm Jim.
I'm Aaron. Bye-bye. You're obviously a Bald Move podcast fan, but were you aware of the breadth and depth of our coverage?
We cover all your favorite TV, shows such as
Game of Thrones, 24, American Horror Story, Breaking Bad, Falling Skies, Fargo, The Leftovers, Gotham, House of Cards, Justified, Mad Men, Orange is the New Black, Boardwalk Empire, True Blood, Downton Abbey, The Walking Dead.
Thanks, Moira.
Fuck you. Pay me.
We told you after the Amazon check clears.
Get all of this and much more at baldmove.com.
Cheap bastards.
And we're back with the spoiler section. What do we have this week?
All right. I think we already talked about this in the main cast enough. The problem of Judith. How they go forward with Judith.
Yeah. The Full House problem.
If they get to some place like Alexandria or Richmond or wherever they end up, whatever is going to... I kind of wonder how they're going to go, because in the comics there's like 3 or 4 settlements that are not bloody-minded idiots. You've got the Hilltop, you've got the Kingdom, you've got Alexandria. I wonder if they'll try to collapse those all into one zone, or if they'll have this thing where you actually have these... cities on the hill that start forming, and there's trade between them, and a warlord trying to rule over them all. I wonder if they'll go that. If they do go that direction, I can see Judith as just being some baby for the next 5 seasons, or toddler that is cute when Rick comes back from one of his daring missions, and she's there to like always amp up the stakes of what Rick is fighting for, but never gets in the way in the kind of like Mary-Kate Ashley territory. What do you think of that?
Yeah, they could totally do that. Just keep recasting that kid.
Here's the 4 big storylines I see that we're probably going to touch on, or maybe touch on in the next season. And I've given them the following taglines. One is Big Love. One of the prison plots, about the only prison plot that they haven't actually gone through and used in some remix mode, is Carol committing death by zombie because
Yeah.
she goes mentally imbalanced and she falls in love with Lori and Rick and their stability and their family life and approaches them to be in a brother or a sister wife kind of capacity. And she's rejected by Lori, and then she goes into the arms of a zombie and gets her face bitten off. They can't do that with Carl, right? I'm sorry.
With Carol.
They can't do it with Carl at all. They can't do it
No.
with Carol, right? Carol's too strong of a person to do.
Every single character on here is too strong now.
Tara.
Maybe Tara. Yeah, she was kept pretty naive throughout this whole thing.
And they did have like
You're
they did have a little weird chemistry between her and Maggie and Glenn. I think people are right
Okay.
that was mostly tension about the big secret she was keeping from Maggie.
Yeah.
I was on the team to cut off your father's head. I was on team Herschel dead.
Uh-huh.
But they could spin that off into but she feels too positive and plucky.
Right
She
now,
doesn't feel like
yeah.
a person that would hit on Maggie and be like, hey, I can have Maggie and Glenn can have Maggie and there never has to be a penis between us.
Yeah.
And that would feel right, but I don't ever see a circumstance where she would sacrifice herself to a walker because she got rejected. Do you think when we meet up in Richmond that they'll try, because the one place they got now is they could introduce a character who's kind of flighty or who's an at-risk character who sees the positive relationship between Maggie and Glenn, or say a Rosita and Abraham, or even a Rick and Michonne, because I see maybe some romance blood. There's this have chemistry. I don't know about romance, but they have chemistry.
Sure.
Do you think they could introduce some Richmondite to get to that, or do you think Kirkman just doesn't care about the big zombie love theory?
Yeah, I feel like he might have that in his back pocket, thinking I'll bust this out when they're least expecting it. But you're right. It'd either have to be Tara or somebody new. Somebody new would take some time to develop to that point, I think.
Andrew Lincoln, in his autograph that he made for you on that picture behind your right shoulder, it says, "Big Zombie Love." Is that a coded message to us indicating they're going to the Big Zombie Love storyline?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, cool. Maggie side. This is the plot where Maggie is overcome by grief and she hangs herself. And Glenn is able to save her at the last moment from strangulation and cuts her down, and everyone thinks she's dead. And Abraham makes an ass out of himself, insisting that they kill her. And then she coughs and comes to, and Glenn is beside himself about why she did this, and it's a defining moment for her character's arc.
Sure, that could definitely happen very soon.
It seems like that's 100% chance it's going to happen. They're setting us up with this Beth thing, with her falling to her knees and raging to the heavens.
They could be setting up a diversion, though. Like zigging when you think they're going to zag.
All right, well,
maybe I don't know. That's
definitely on the table, and I think it's something that they're heading us towards. Mm-hmm. The introduction of Negan. And by introduction, I mean he beat someone's brains in with a baseball bat. Yeah.
Which is Glenn in the book?
Glenn in the comic books. I'm a big fan of it perhaps happening to Daryl.
Okay. That could happen.
That's a season finale type thing.
Oh, you think so? So maybe they'll introduce Negan at the end of this next season, this next half season anyway?
So it just depends. Like if they do this, so the whole thing with Negan, I'm not going to do this Negan shit. It's Negan. There's the hilltop and there's the kingdom and there's Alexandria, and they all give tribute to Negan, who's the savior. And he's kind of like,
okay,
he goes around and promotes trade between the communities, but he also exacts tribute. And he also, he just makes their life harder because he takes like half their shit for very little benefit.
Uh-huh.
And Rick is the first one to be like, this is fucking bullshit. We shouldn't give money to this warlord. And he thinks he's going to roll them as easy as he has the governor and everybody that's one of the trajectories of the comic books, is that Rick's company, his group, is irrationally self-confident because they were able to destroy the hunters and the governor, and they've won every battle.
Yeah.
That this Negan guy is going to be some tin pot dictator that's under-equipped and underformed, and he's just cruel, and And it turns out Negan actually is a badass motherfucker that is a force to be reckoned with, and beats Rick the first few times they go against each other. And do you think that is something? So
that's super interesting.
He gets introduced, and Alexander's like, well, we kind of do it this way, and Rick's like, this is bullshit. I'm taking over.
It gives him a different reason to fight other than these guys are trying to kill us. That's what I've been seeing time and time again. That Rick and his group just want to be nice, play by the rules, and no one will let them. Well, now they're not saying like we're going to kill you. They're just saying we're not going to pay you. Like Rick's group is saying we're not going to pay you.
Also,
it's a principled stand that they're taking versus being outright attacked.
Also, there's another minor plot that's like Rick just assumes that every group that he meets is going to be motherfuckers. And when he finally meets a group that's just kind of as roughly fair-minded as he is, it really backfires. Like he captures and tortures a fairly heroic character from one of these settlements and acts like the type of person that Rick outside his group would summarily execute if he ran into them.
Yeah.
And how do you deal with that? And how do you start learning to trust people in this kind of world?
Sure.
Those are super interesting things I hope that they get to touch on.
Yeah, I feel like they're on the path to get to those.
Final one, King Ezekiel. There is an older black guy with white dreadlocks. His name is Ezekiel. He styles himself as King Ezekiel. He rules over the kingdom where he has mounted police on like horseback, like knights. And he has an enormous Bengal tiger. I think her name is Sheba.
Okay.
Who goes into battle with him and takes out zombies and shit. It's a giant, tiger. There was a debate amongst the fans about whether they would go with Michonne. Like you have this ninja chick. She's got a cloak. She's got these slave zombies that she's disarmed and disjawed, and she's leading them around in chains, and she's got a samurai sword. No way would primetime audiences buy this character on any level. Do you think King Ezekiel is a bridge too far, or could they come up with a King Ezekiel that you would buy as a real character? A dude?
No, that sounds outrageous. That sounds like some Mike Tyson hangover level shit.
But Michonne did not. Michonne did not strike you as ridiculous just hearing about her.
A little bit, but she proved to be such a good character that I looked over it.
I'm interested to see whether they go full King Ezekiel on this.
Man, I don't know. You can't tame a tiger like that in that way. I mean, look what happened to
Siegfried and Roy.
Roy, man, one wrong move and your tiger eats your face.
I don't know. You can't tame a tiger in the way you can tame a house cat. Well, you can't even tame a house cat in the way you can tame a house cat. Certainly not. But I think if you kept them fed with all the zombies they can eat, and that it's going to preferentially attack these things rather than your people.
Yeah, I don't know about that. That seems like a bridge too far. Yeah.
He's such a big part of the next kind of few chapters.
Did you have a problem believing it in the comic when you read it?
When I remember, because it was like one of those things where it's introduced as this big splash page at the end of the comics, and it's led up to this. And you'd already met the Kingdom guards. They're these guys on horseback wearing body armor. And
no problem with that. That's fine.
And they're speaking in this like archaic, and I'm like, oh God, what are we going to meet? So they set this guy up to be eccentric, and then he has a fucking tiger.
They're speaking in a different language? What do you mean archaic? What?
So they're speaking like what a Shakespeare in a Park actor would think that Old English would sound
so
like.
Schlocky.
He's like
just schlocky bullshit.
Yeah, but
what does this comic turn into, man?
It worked because people are crazy. And for some reason, the King Ezekiel.
So you've got a Ren fair with tigers.
Yes, you have a Renaissance fair.
Is what you have.
You have the king of a Renaissance fair with tigers.
Man, I might just check out of the show if that happens. And I'm not kidding.
Oh my God. Okay.
That's ridiculous.
All right. All right. I think it comes off better than you're giving
Maybe
it
it
credit for.
does. I'm hearing Bengal tigers
And it pays off.
and ye old English, and I am not having it.
Yes, the king's English. The king happens to be Ezekiel, so whatever his English goes, man.
Uh-huh.
That's an expression. So that's my take. Let's turn it over to the fans. Cynthia
Okay.
B, longtime fan, longtime emailer, said I really liked Morgan's character, but that could be just because he was on for such a short time that I didn't have a chance to get sick of him. I can't see how. I don't see how he can come back to The Walking Dead. He is filming a new TV show called Critical, which will be a 13-episode season, and it's based on a British show called The Critical, which is all the rage now. That we're
British
remaking
shows.
British stuff.
Yeah.
I know occasionally people can be on more than one show. If the timing, it's easier on a 13-episode season than on a conventional 24-episode season.
Yeah.
It's probably even easier still when you go off on a 4-month hiatus in between half 8 season. An 8-episode here or there.
Uh-huh. And when you're only in 2 episodes for 15 seconds.
Does that seem like that this... Do you think that this kind of meta-universe that Cynthia, this meta-universe reason is going to be a definitive problem for Morgan being a recurring character? In the comics, Morgan does come back, but he does not stick around very long.
So, I mean, imagine, the filming day that the actor Lenny James must have had for his 2 15-second scenes in this whole half season. He only had to be on set for about 2 hours, probably.
Yeah, he could have flown into Atlanta anytime.
If they do
second
that,
unit comes out there and shoots him.
What if they do that for another half season? Because he still hasn't caught up with them, and we know that they've left by the time
and
he
he's
gets
several
there.
months behind.
Months behind.
What if he gets there right after they introduce Negan? Negan beats Glenn / Daryl's head into the ground. We're at a super low moment. Rick and his company are burying the dead and licking their wounds and trying to figure out what the fuck their next move is. And Morgan comes up to the gates of Richmond / Alexander / Hilltop / the Kingdom, wherever.
Yeah, I feel like that's where he's going to find them. Somewhere in that group of civilizations.
And then he dies.
And they need time to get there.
Then that punts it down a year.
Yeah. So is he a regular on this series? Is he going to be in
die?
multiple years?
Is he going to... Yeah. Maybe Morgan gets... if they really wanted to cheap out, they could beat Morgan to death.
Oh, yeah, they could.
He joins Rick just long enough to get established as a well-loved character again, and then when he stands up to Negan and Negan busts him, he can beat Morgan to death. And we can keep Glenn and Daryl. Does that feel cheap?
Not really.
It's almost
I'm
more tragic.
I'm more attached to Morgan at this point than some of the characters we've been with for
Glenn
most of this season.
I mean, we gotta be careful. I'm not more attached to him than Carol or Daryl or
no, certainly not. But Tara, Eugene, any of those characters, I'm more attached to Morgan.
And like I said, it's almost more tragic that this guy has missed Rick so much, and kind of this lost cause. He finally finds this group and acceptance, and he gets beat to death. That would almost that would work.
It might, yeah. And then he can go off and he can do his British shows.
Connor O.B., he has found a Yahoo interview with the Gimple and Kirkman, and he says they're quoted throughout mainly about Season 5 being what to expect in aftermath of Dead Beth. Some interesting points from an article that I want you to talk about. They both say that we're definitely going to see some emotionally wrecked main cast at the beginning of Season 5B. That's a given, right?
Has to be, yeah.
I mean, Rick was weepy. Daryl was devastated.
Sasha just
Maggie,
lost her
Maggie obviously
boyfriend.
Devastated. Carol's, sad.
Everybody, man.
Everybody's
They've lost
gonna be
everything
bummed.
good about this world.
Tyrese and Sasha be like, I don't really know this girl, but whatever. Judith is going to miss one of her main nurses. I mean, Beth was the nurse in the prison sequence.
Uh-huh.
At some point, the rules that have applied to the group no longer apply. That's a hard one to parse. What rules are he talking about? Because to me, that might hint about the whole script flipping that I talked about in the main cast. that Rick is going to meet a group where he thinks they're evil and they're actually good.
Yeah.
And he's going to meet a group where he thinks he can get the upper hand and he can't.
Yeah.
That's what I'm taking away from that.
I hope so.
A gay male character is going to be introduced to the group. It could be Double A Ron.
Saw a lot of emails saying that
Yes.
Jesus might be that guy.
Yeah, I do not remember. I guess that Jesus, who is not his real name. First of all, people are assuming that I'm mispronouncing Jesus. No, he's a white dude that looks like he physically resembles the Western Christian kind of composite of what Jesus would look like. He's a skinny white guy with long hair and a kind of well-trimmed beard. And he's a total badass.
Okay.
He's like a what do you call that? Parkour, Krav Maga, Jason Bourne-esque wrecking machine that happens to look like a stereotypical Jesus Christ.
Nobody fucks with the Jesus.
And he's apparently gay. I did not get that. I think one of the things, because I was reading up on it in the last week, and one of the things that Kirkman's kind of going for is just this nondescript dude that turns out he's gay, and you find out about it, but not a big deal is made out of it.
Yeah. And he's a badass.
Yeah.
It's like the Omar of the Walking Dead universe.
Yep. The next point is there will be a Kirkman remix to the story, but some sections of the half-cast will be extremely true to the comics. In parentheses, he wonders, is this Maggie's suicide? And finally, Beth's death isn't the last devastating event to hit the group. That's got to be hinting towards a Negan death, right? That's got to be...
I would think so.
That's got to be Glenn or Daryl or maybe Morgan.
Yeah, you can even take the last thing he said to mean Richmond/Alexandria.
Sure. Thanks for that, Connor. Ashley H. said, I'm predicting that I'm changing my mind about Negan showing up in the season 5B finale. If I recall correctly, before he appears, there's an attack on Alexandria, I think in the form of a herd. I remember there being some random woman that Rick starts dating. Her and her son get killed. And I want to say this is where Carl gets shot again. Yeah. I'm totally not clear on the details anymore, but I know.
Gets shot again?
Shot in the face. Blows out his eye.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
He's wearing an eye patch from there on from there on out. I'm not totally clear on the details anymore, but I know the last panel of the issue is the insane drawing of Carl with half his face missing. I'm now wondering if that's where the season could end. Could they even do that on AMC? At Walker Stalker Con in Atlanta, Chandler Riggs said one of his favorite episodes is in 5B, and I kind of want this to be it. Yeah, several people said that 509, which is a Nicotero joint, by the way, is the best episode in Walking Dead history. Now,
they've said that before.
Have said that. I've heard that said about most recently Andrew Lincoln talked about the episode where he was in a coma and Carl was eating pudding.
Yeah.
Did not think that was the best episode in Walking Dead history. So I'm going to wait and see. I think they're talking about Maggie committing suicide.
It could be, although if Chandler Riggs is saying it, blowing his eye out could be pretty cool.
But there's no way that's going to be 509.
Yeah, it can't be 509.
No way. No way. But yeah, I mean, that could... You're right. That we could not see Negan and the herd collapsing Alexandria and everybody running pell-mell and Rick's love interest and that little girl, or maybe it might have been a little boy, and Carl getting his face half blown off. That could work for a climax of a season for damn sure.
Definitely.
Then you got to wonder when they're going to introduce Negan. Are they going to keep him for the second half of 6A? A 6A cliffhanger? Because that's the kind of Negan beating someone to death is not something you just pull out in the middle of the season, or is it? Would that be awesome?
Well, they did it with Bob. They had somebody eat Bob's leg off and kill him.
Maybe we're making too big of a deal at this moment. Maybe it won't be a finale. It'll be just a mid-season type of deal. I'm not talking like a mid-season finale. I'm talking just mid-season.
Yeah.
Jacob S says, "Hey guys, listening to the spoiler section. You probably had someone else point this out, but I think Jesus is gay in the comics, and I believe that's who Kirkman is referring to. You are the winner chicken dinner first person that called me out on this.
A lot of people called you out.
Yeah, tons, but you're the first. That's why you get mentioned. So yeah, it could be. I always think when I think of gay characters, I think of Aaron, because he has got like they're a couple and they're openly gay, whereas I don't even remember Jesus.
Huh.
Like, I guess it's like he maybe spooned with somebody, or he just casually mentioned he was gay.
Spoon with somebody? All
but
right.
he doesn't have like a regular boyfriend, and it's not a big deal made of it. And proof of that fact, I don't remember him being gay, which is kind of cool.
I'm sure people will write in and tell you exactly what scenes.
No, I know, and I could.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back and reread like everything from this point where Eugene gets outed on in the off season to kind of refresh myself, because I've forgotten a lot, frankly. Nicholas G says some predictions kicking off the second half of the season. I think we'll see a small time skip of maybe a week or two in order for the group to deal with the death of Beth and plan their next move. What eventually they will decide is to go towards Virginia after Noah tells them about his uncle being in the safe zone, which is presumably Alexandria. That seems reasonable. Also in an interview, Greg Nicotero, which is director of episode 9, stated this is the best episode, which implies he's either hyping up the return of The Walking Dead in February, entirely valid, or that we'll see another character death, which is unlikely after Coda, and maybe the return of the giant zombie herd from early season 4.
I hope so.
He talks about it's highly likely the comic Maggie suicide attempt will occur around episode 10 or 13. I think it's 9, just from what I'm seeing here. The group may be inadvertently or purposely split again during this time, as we note how much the writers love to split the group up for seemingly no good reason. The group may reach Alexandria, and I'll put a / Richmond there, safe zone around episode 14. We'll see the group meet with Morgan again, possibly around this time or towards the end of the season. However, I believe the writers may spice up the return of Morgan by having him come across some of the members of Rick's group who do not know where he is, and some conflict may occur. I'm thinking for some reason this will involve a confrontation between Morgan and Abraham, and then the groups will converge somehow, and Rick will announce he knows Morgan and he will join, therefore creating some tension between the members of the group. The finale will probably include a character death, which I think will either be Carol or Tyrese, and maybe see Rick go back to his farmer ways.
Oh, man.
What do you think of all that?
Those predictions are varying from what everybody else seems to think is going to happen. So they're bold. I like that.
Not even getting to Alexandria before the climax of the season.
I kind of hope they do, and it feels to me like because of the fast pace of this last half season, I have faith that they will. Like, I don't think they're going to drag out this road trip for much longer than absolutely necessary. So I'm not sure I buy all your theories, but kudos for the cojones to predict them.
Indeed.
Not going with the pack there.
Nathan P. said, it's something to be said about how Kirkman and company have fucked up, seeing as the only way to make Maggie more interesting as a character, or rather have a good plot line, is to have her attempt suicide. Glenn and Maggie have completely lost the spotlight in the show, either as part of the badass group or as the group's key couple. Gone is the romance and chemistry. Instead, they're just background. The only way of reigniting the spark, or rather the interest in their characters and their relationship, is to have Maggie distraught over losing Beth. Again, retconning 16 episodes of not caring about her sister and having her try to off herself. And surprisingly, we're all okay with that. And I'm not really okay with being okay with that. What have you done to my feelings, The Walking Dead? He's got kind of a point that we're all like, oh, Maggie's suicide. Maybe we can start caring about the Greens again. That's fucked up.
It is, but that's the corner they've put themselves in.
It felt a hell of a lot more natural in the comics.
Okay.
They did a much better job of A goes to B, goes to C, goes to her hanging herself.
They did it much faster in the comics, though, didn't they?
I don't know
prison,
about that.
The prison has been at least a month ago.
I've always said that the whole farm arc was a single fucking issue of the comic book that they stretched out to 13 episodes.
Yeah.
Prison was 10 to 12 issues that they stretched out to 2 years. So I just don't.
It feels like at this stage of the zombie apocalypse, I don't know that anybody is so anybody who's still alive is so distraught that they would kill themselves over things that happen in the apocalypse.
Nah, I don't have a problem with
the Beth thing is the most viable thing for Maggie to get upset about, certainly. I feel like these people are too hard to get all worked up about this stuff anymore.
I don't know about that.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
You know,
2 years into Hell on Earth, you might be a little less concerned with. Like, if you've wanted to stay alive this long, what is it that changes your mind at this fucking point?
Yeah,
Good God.
You look at war. Look at we're big fans of Dan Carlin.
Sure, World War One.
World War One was literally hell on earth.
Yes.
Like, I would rather be in the Walking Dead apocalypse than
too.
a trench in the Somme or one of those fucking deals.
Yeah.
Regardless of being exposed to those horrors day in and day out, you always had a buddy or two that if they died, it was extra hard versus like just your run of the mill, everyone around you dying. And there were still guys that were committing suicide and doing irrational things after 6 months to a year of being on the campaign. So
yeah, you're right.
You never know. I mean, people are machines and they break down at varying intervals. You just don't know.
Sure. Okay.
So let's move on to Aaron, double Aaron T. Said, I have a couple questions for you about your predictions and The Walking Dead in general. Did you happen to read a recent article where Andrew Lincoln says this upcoming episode 9, Jesus Christ, they've got the whole fucking group parroting this.
They do.
Episode 9 of season 5 is the greatest ever, and episode 10 will be the episode that I,
get hype,
Andrew Lincoln, always wanted to shoot.
The one where I get kicked off The Walking Dead.
Do you think this is just lip service? If not, what do you think could happen for both these statements by Lincoln to be true, particularly the first one?
Man, it's lip service. At this point,
But it's got to be something epic.
It's something, but it's not anything as good as you're hoping for. I can almost guarantee that.
I mean, the way they're talking about, and what really weirds me out is the follow-up. Like, he's talking almost like Glenn dying or Daryl dying. And there's surely, like, if they do that, to
Maggie
open up
herself.
the season 5B and then maintain that somehow throughout, that would be a statement. That's the other thing that drives me crazy about The Walking Dead. They could write this ship. There's 18 million people watching it. They could do a statement episode to, like, send everyone, haters and critics and everyone ever, hey, we're going to do 5 consistent episodes. We're going to do a whole half season strong. You got to take us seriously now.
Yeah, and this is what The Walking Dead is.
Yes, we are redefining
no identity
what's
crisis.
possible. Yes. They just don't ever do that.
I feel like they had an opportunity, and they kind of did do it with the first episode of this season, but they've gone back on that.
Yeah, if episode 5, if season 5A would have been even a 90% across the board, people would be, because you already had like Andy Greenwald and Alan Sepinwall up until 2 episodes ago were like singing this show's fucking praises.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
The
Maggie's death might be that event, right?
I just don't know the aftermath episode, how that is like something that Andrew's like super, like what the fuck is going on that Mr. Lincoln is super proud about his work on 510.
Mr. Lincoln.
Yeah, Mr. Lincoln.
I call him Andy.
I'm nasty, so I call him Mr. Lincoln. The Shaniac says, I nominate comedian Jim Jeffries for discussion on the Negan rule. Jim is as dirty in a vocabulary as it gets as a comedian, and we know from Breaking Good podcast that the theory is that if someone is good at comedy, they can be just as good at drama. Plus, he looks just like Negan from the comics. Also, a friend of mine fell victim to being responsible for Jeffries as a sort of companion to show him a good time while he visited Kansas City. Can I read this, or am I reading a tale about an escort service? Can I read this on the podcast?
No, show him a good time doesn't necessarily mean anything.
I'm just saying, every single time I've seen on like Boardwalk Empire, someone being shown a good time, there was nakedness and sex involved, and probably drugs.
Yeah.
So Shaniac, I don't know about where this is going. He told me that he is exactly what he is like on stage in person. They got into no less than 4 fights while bar hopping one night. Can they go we've been going serious, intense, dramatic actors and badasses. They go the other way and get a comic to be as menacing as Negan needs to be?
The problem is I don't know how. I am looking at pictures of him.
If you Google him, he kind of looks roughly. I mean, Negan looks kind of like a big-headed tough dude in a leather jacket. He looks like a 1950s biker villain. So he could be that guy.
He could definitely be that guy. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know anything about Jim Jeffries. I don't know much about Negan. You're asking a guy To speculate on something he has no idea about. So, can't do it. Sorry.
Useless, Jim Jones. Andrew H. said, the thematic mission of the comic seems to be rather dark, addressing the question of what would happen if human beings had to repopulate the Earth.
Okay.
That is, we are visiting a time in our history, or we are revisiting a time in our history when the world was relatively underpopulated and a small number of warring clans fought brutally over limited resources.
With a horde of the undead all around.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure back in mankind's prehistory, we had like Tyrannosaurus Rexes.
Oh, yeah.
And Stegosaurus and like fucking.
We rode them, though.
Brontosaurus.
We had saddles. We had T-Rex saddles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Dino Riders.
Uh-huh.
It's a documentary they had on that time. So does this feel like Kirkman's Alexander community versus Negan's Saviors? So he's like, is this a parable for like the dawn of humanity? A way to talk about how civilization changes and how it violently and peacefully assembles governments. And
I want to say I hope so.
Yeah.
Because that would add some really interesting stuff to a show that needs really interesting stuff.
Yeah.
To make it compelling. So, yeah, please be that.
He says he wants us to comment on that and also whether we agree with his assessment on Kirkman's take of the post-apocalyptic reestablishment of human society and whether the show is going to go in that direction. Would this be too dark for television, he wonders? Would it be edited out like rape and suicide have been already? I don't see this storyline as particularly dark. Reestablishment of the human species? That seems like the closest we've had to hope in a long time.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Anything else? So, I don't think mankind scrapping and fighting over the apocalypse, I don't think is particularly dark material.
Yeah.
Edwin C. said, First, I'll start by giving you my perfect actor for the role of Negan, and that's Jeffrey Dean Morgan. He fits Negan's image perfectly. My only concern is if he could pull off the character.
I don't know anything about this guy.
Yeah, either. I don't know. He's famous for being in like a Grey's Anatomy series. He looks like Negan. He looks a hell of a lot like Negan. But Edwin says he might not be able to pull off the character.
I've seen this guy and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't maybe have he has never demonstrated the crazy intensity of Negan.
Oh, he's in Watchmen. He's in
Watchmen?
Yeah,
Is he the comedian?
He's the comedian, yeah.
Well then, yeah, he can be Negan. Fuck
sure.
Yeah.
He could totally be him, yeah.
He says you were taking guesses as to who the gay character will be next half season. He's also took me to task.
Oh wait, no, he's not. Gay. He's a guy that looks like him.
What?
Never mind.
He's the guy that...
I don't think it's the same guy.
He's the guy that looks like the comedian. Who the hell are you talking about? What's his character in IMDb for Watchmen?
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
And I'm going to continue.
Okay.
It seems that they are headed to the Alexander Safe Zone next season. I think we'll spend the rest of the season there.
He is in Watchmen.
What, he is?
Yeah.
What does he play?
He plays the comedian, yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, okay.
It is him, yeah.
He could totally be Negan then.
Okay.
We have the group arriving there, which can take up an episode. We also have many struggles that will happen within the safe zone that I feel will eat up the whole season. These being, he's got 6 points.
Oh, boy.
1, the group fitting in with people who haven't seen the horrors that they have. They've been living behind walls and feeling relatively safe.
Woodbury 2.0.
Or the Hospital 2.0.
Yep.
So I'm kind of like, I don't really give a shit about seeing that anymore. I've seen it.
The Farm 2.0.
I've seen it before, yep. 2, Rick and Michonne are appointed the new sheriff and deputy of the community. That's interesting. And that could actually draw them closer. Because in the comics, he and Andrea pair up.
Oh, okay.
And interestingly, Michonne and King Ezekiel pair up. I think it'd be much more interesting for them to be sheriff and deputy and kind of evolve romantically that way.
Mm-hmm.
3, Rick struggled to follow the rules of a That's what Andrew Lincoln's talking about. He's got a sex scene with Denai, and that's what he's been always wanting to shoot.
Wait, I thought it was Carl who was saying
dog.
It was his favorite episode.
No, it was Andrew Lincoln saying episode 510.
Nice.
So distraught about Maggie, they do some comfort boning.
Yep.
And that's what's going on here. Rick struggled to follow the rules of a peaceful and normal society. That's the kind of thing I was touching on. That he's so on guard about the governors and hunters of the world that he can't just relax and be with like-minded people. Mm-hmm. Rick and the current leader of the Safe Zone struggle for power. Something we talked about in a couple spoiler sections, that you had these low-level government functionaries that are running.
I think that's super interesting.
Yeah, you got bureaucrats versus
warlords. Yeah,
who
I like
wins when you've got Rick as a kind of a samurai chivalrous warlord.
Yeah, sounds cool.
Kind of Battlestar Galactic-y.
All right, definitely. Mm-hmm.
5, Rick struggled to deal with herds, or actually the group struggled to deal with herds.
Mm-hmm.
And 6, the zone dealing with raiders trying to get in. So you've got all those different things.
All of these sound awesome. I want to see every single one in the next half season.
And it's all different, stuff that we haven't seen before.
Yeah.
Another theory I had is, what if Daryl's separated from the group? Kirkman has stated that the character Dwight is an analog representing Daryl in the comics. I did not know that. And I think it would be cool to take him away from a season only to reintroduce him with the Negan group. It would fit into the story nicely. The only question is if the show could just survive that long without him. So in the comics, Dwight is a character who's kind of abused by Negan, but he's also his right-hand man. Mm-hmm. Daryl already went through that with Joe. It's going to feel like a rehash.
Milton. We saw Milton. We saw...
But Daryl did this with Joe and ended up with an attempted Carl rape, and I feel like they've already gone there. That's already been remixed.
Yeah.
We don't need to see it again. Lastly, I'd like to know how you feel about the 2-year time jump into comics and how the show could prosper from doing the same. So this is Matt and big spoilers, but in the comic book, Negan eventually is defeated in a storyline called appropriately All Out War, and then they flash forward 2 years to show what the future looks like with these 3 or 4 communities tight-knit and cooperative and under Rick's kind of leadership. And things are pretty good with some undercurrents of darkness. I don't have any problem with the show flashing forward 2 years. It would help with Chandler Riggs being like a 20-year-old man at this point.
Yeah.
And once Negan's defeated, like, times of peace and prosperity are kind of boring.
Yeah.
You jump forward to see how far. Oh, wow, they've got a windmill and it's making grain, and they've mastered the art of metal making, and you can kind of see that as interesting, but it's not interesting to see that in real time.
Yeah, sure.
So I don't have a problem with them jumping 2 years in the future.
No, do it. I'm okay.
I think it'd be ballsy.
Yeah, you can get Judith growing up a little bit too.
She can have some lines. Last one. Anthony B said, one guy you didn't mention last week is the possible forthcoming gay character of Paul Monroe, better known as Jesus. Shoot, I screwed this up. I actually put damn near every email that took me to task. But he also said, in fact, if I remember correctly, Rick's gang actually beats him up and takes him as prisoner for a while. That's the thing I was talking about as far as Rick making mistakes and how he handles some of the post-apocalyptic people he meets. And that's it.
Okay.
That is the podcast. We're done.
Sounds good.
We're taking
Sounds
2 months
good.
off. Not really.
No.
2 months off The Walking Dead.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's it for season 5A coverage. Thanks everybody for listening. Really appreciate all your support through The Walking Dead. We'll be back, like Aaron said, in 2 months.
Aaron, thank you very much. Don't be outing me.
I didn't. Yeah, okay. And until then, I'm Jim.
And I'm Aaron. I'll see you later.